Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Hold one, Andre.
You're not good at this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
Oh my God!
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy. Goodbye and good night. Hold two, on bar.
It's still real to me, damn it!
Dummy.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
Hold three, Lamas covered. Three-handle family Gradunzel.
Mamma mia!
And now, Unchained.media presents the B Plus Podcast with your host, Greg Unchained.
It's me, Austin! It was me all along, Austin!
Number 4, Armbar.
I will never retire!
I still got 200 more. I got 200 more holes to list.
All right, fellow B Plus players, welcome to the B Plus Podcast. I'm your host, Greg Unchained. Today is Thursday. You know what that means. It's bonus episode day, and as they usually are, this one is another one focused on Aussie Graps. That's right, Jake Andrew Arthur, Shazza McKenzie, Kevin Chayat, you Twitter bullies. It's Graps. I'm not going to stop calling it Graps. Stop trying to get me to stop calling it Graps. I don't care if it's not going to happen. That's what I'm calling it. And joining me to talk some Graps, the man behind the potato and receipt, Dan. How are you, Dan?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry about the rant. I got very emotional.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. You're being ganged up.
Where do you stand on Aussie Graps and Ozres? And keep in mind that I can edit you and make you sound like you support Nazis.
Well, you're twisting my arm here, but no, I do like Aussie Graps, actually, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I'm happy to go with Aussie Graps.
Thank you. All right. He's on my side, and it's not because I edited it, I promise. So let's talk some Aussie Graps now. We wanted to talk PWA. Fridays are for the babes. I keep going to say Friday is for the babes because I don't know, but Fridays apparently are for the babes. All Fridays, not just this Friday.
Yeah. I think it must just be their day of the week.
Right, so from now on, officially, Fridays are for the babes, and I guess on our Instagram, we should only post pictures of the babes on Friday.
Maybe,
yeah, the babes.
Maybe. I think that might be the way to go going forward, for sure.
So, I'm actually in Sydney for this PWA show, which is very exciting. I'm combining it with, a family visit because I'm originally from Sydney, so visiting family and friends and stuff for Christmas. So I'm staying here for a week after the show. It's very exciting stuff. I've just touched down, I've just landed, and the first thing I've done is unpack my microphone so that we can go ahead and do a preview show for all you kind people out there in listener land. So let's get into it. Let's start with the most recent match that was announced. I'm starting at the bottom of your preview, by the way. People can go to thebplus.com where they will find a wonderful preview written by Dan that's going to run you through the entire card. But the latest match to be announced, this one's an exciting one.
Yeah, definitely. We got a bit of a teaser early on when PWA announced Fridays are for the babes, where they talked about the fact that Robbie Eagles would be returning back to PWA after his time in New Japan, and we finally found out the match that he was going to get, and that's against Tyler Payne, the wrestler formerly known as Snapchat.
Yeah. I wish they called him the artist formerly known as Snapchat. It just would have, like, I know that's a direct ripoff at that point, but I mean, wrestling is an art.
Oh, and imitation's the best form of flattery anyway, right? So,
yeah. So I'm very, very excited for this one. Obviously, Tyler Payne, fresh off a stint in the Fale Dojo and getting ready to head to the New Japan Dojo in Japan, not the LA one, the actual, he's going to be a young boy. He's going to get the crap beaten out of him by Suzuki, presumably. And so this is very exciting to see. I mean, we've seen glimpses now since he's been back, but to see him in a match with Robbie Eagles, who is also fresh off a stint over in New Japan for that Super Junior Tag League that we talk about all the time. To see Tyler Payne fresh off this training stint over in New Zealand with Fale Dojo, I'm really keen to see what he's picked up, what he's bringing to the table now with fresh skills that he might have picked up along the way.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the thing to note is too that based on the Coliseum show and how Snapchat ended up, or Tyler, I should say, what sort of Tyler Payne are we going to get? Is he going to be mentally strong? He was ambushed by a TMDK. He was unmasked. Unsocial Jordan was staring at him, watching it unfold, and then turned his back on him and walked away. And then he's got a huge challenge ahead of him in Robbie Eagles.
Which, I mean, just back to that quickly, they want us to stand with SMS when Unsocial Jordan won't even stand with them.
Well, that's right. But Unsocial Jordan since then has just sort of said, well, he's fine. There's nothing wrong with him. Our relationship's great. Similar to Cody with the Bullet Club being fine. But, I don't know what to expect with Tyler Payne, actually. I'm very, very intrigued to see what we're going to get on Friday.
Me too. And look, after Robbie's match with Nick Golfus, we know he's in the business right now of just really, really putting younger guys on the map here in Australia. That's kind of, since he stepped back in the country, that's what he's doing. So I'm very excited for this one.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, you look at his Twitter. I think it would have been sort of a month ago. He was all about asking about which up and coming talent he needed to face in Australia. He was asking for feedback from the fans, and so that's what Robbie's goal is at the moment. He wants to test himself against the best and brightest coming up.
Yeah. Do you think that means that perhaps 2019, maybe towards the latter half of the year, when Best of the Super Juniors and things like that roll around, do you think it means that he's probably headed away for a longer period of time?
I think there's a big possibility. He made such a splash in the New Japan Tag League, the Super Junior Tag League. He submitted Yusha Thunder Liger on debut. He had a phenomenal showing in all of his matches, win, lose, or draw. And I think that New Japan would be crazy not to include him in anything related to the Super Juniors going forward.
Yeah, and that new gear, though.
Shout out to Sliced Threads, who is an Australian designer who actually designed that outfit, and incredible.
Oh, it's fantastic. Some kind soul has created it on WWE 2K19, and I've downloaded it, and I've got Robbie Eagles as my cruiserweight champion. Because I'm a mark, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do mark things. But moving on, the first match that the Babes are actually involved in. So the Babes are kind of hosting this night. It's going to be a frat party theme. Now, I don't know what that means, to be honest with you.
Well, you talk to Matty Wahlberg himself. He said in interviews he spent a lot of time in America, in the college environment. That's why he's such a big beer pong guy. And he knows how to throw a rager, from my understanding. So I think we're expecting a big party. Big party
vibe. But I always thought fraternities were like the Greek thing. So, like, are we going to wear togas? Is that the deal, or is it just sort of college themed? I'm a bit blurry on it.
I think it's more representative of what Carter and Harley and Matty are about, which is the throwbacks, the fresh clothes, and then partying it up.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm incredibly uncool, and I have no idea what any of this is. And Matty's probably going to rip into me about it as well. So let's move on. Babes, Carter Deans, and Harley Wonderland take on One Direction, Four Nations, Jessica Troy and Adam Hoffman, Belle Pierce and Tree Huggalucci, who you have dubbed Bellucci, and I like it.
Just a tribute to Monica Bellucci, but or John Bellucci. So I think this is going to be a really good match, actually. Four really good tag teams, and the fourth one, Belle Pierce and Tree Huggalucci, I've never seen team before. So again, very intrigued to see what these two bring to the table.
I think it's such a great team. With her, I mean, I've only seen bits and pieces of Belle Pierce, but she does sort of like a yogi gimmick, right?
Yeah, and she's from Byron Bay, and yeah.
Yeah.
So
So to have her with Tree Hugger Lucci, I'm just like, this makes so much sense. It's the team I never thought of and never knew I wanted, but I absolutely deserve.
I think you summed it up perfect. It's the team that you didn't even know that you wanted, but they've been put together, and it's like a perfect match.
Yeah, so I'm very keen to see them interact. And I honestly can't pick a winner on this match, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I went with One Direction only because they claimed the number one contendership at the last show. So I kind of thought, well, they probably want to be a strong showing here. But look,
Yeah.
any of these four teams, any of these four teams could get this done.
Yeah, because I feel like with the Babes hosting as well, they can always pull some kind of shenanigans, make up some rules on the fly. There's anything could happen, really.
Oh, for sure. And
When you get that many bodies in a ring, it's bound to be chaos.
That's right. One Direction don't even have to be involved in the finish, So anything could happen. Anything could happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And still looking at tag action, we're getting the Mighty Don't Kneel, Mikey Broderick and Damian Slater, taking on Matt Diamond and Jude the Dude London. Now, you've called them the Diamond Dudes. They're the Velocities.
Yeah, I know that they were actually looking for a new name. Actually,
there you go.
After the joining from after Matt Diamond joined at Coliseum, but they were taking some feedback. I think they were going to go with the Diamond Dogs, but yeah, I just had a bit of fun with it when I was writing this review. So yeah, take it or leave it, I guess.
Yeah, well, Diamond Dudes make sense because you got Jude the Dude and you got Matt Diamond. So I'm very this match though. I mean, I'm keen to see how Mikey Broderick and Damian Slater work together because we're so used to Damian Slater with Marcus Pitt. And, I mean, Broderick is similar and he's going to bring that power game, but he also brings a lot more character. Not that Marcus Pitt doesn't have character, because he absolutely does. But do you get what I'm saying here?
I definitely do. He basically could replace Marcus Pitt in the Untouchables, but at the same time, Mikey Broderick, as you said, he's got this whole sort of cheer for Mikey thing, which he taunts the crowd with as he wrestles. He does have a bit more heel work in terms of his character, that basically taunting and jeering at the crowd. But yeah, he has that power game, as you mentioned. But it'll be interesting to see, though, with Jude the Dude and Matt Diamond teaming together as well. I think it's going to be about who can be more cohesive that's going to get the win in this one.
Right, so that's the story, is two new teams, and who's going to be able to work together better for their first time out there.
Well, that's right. And the Velocities, Jude the Dude, after his triple threat against Matt Diamond and Matt Rogers at the last show, was talking about how the Velocities, like he and Paris, had been talking and they hadn't been able to win the big one. Every time they'd come up short. So they were looking for getting a new recruit to try and fix that problem.
Yeah, well, because in every matchup they're outnumbered because all the other teams are part of larger groups.
That's right. So they're looking for some more backup. So it'll be interesting to see. Matt Diamond is a phenomenal wrestler, perfect recruit for the Velocities. So it's going to be really interesting to see whether getting Matt Diamond on board is that last piece of the puzzle for them to take it to the next level.
Yeah, well, I love the story that that like we said, the new teams who's going to gel together better. And I also love the style mashup because you've got that technical powerhouse team versus the Flyers, and I always love that. I always love that dynamic, so I'm very much looking forward to this one. This one could steal the show for me, in my personal opinion, but I'm also keeping my eye on that Robbie match. And then we move on to Michael Spencer and Madison Eagles. Now, this one is months in the making.
Well, and this is the one that I'm most looking forward to for sure. The story's been told since basically we sold ourselves for Rock and Robbie, which is the first show at Max Watts, the first one at the Max Watts venue. And they've had little moments in each show where they've come head to head. The last one they finally did at the Coliseum show, they finally did get to put their hands on each other and they brawled into the back. But this time it's one-on-one. as I've said here, it's a match between wrestling royalty, the Master versus the Prince. Who's going to take it out? I've gone with Madison in the preview, but Michael is so talented. He's got some pretty dangerous knees, incredibly athletic. This one really could go either way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm going to go with Madison as well. I think the recent news, let's touch on it. Of course, Jonah has signed. He's heading to Orlando, according to sources. All the reports, all the sites are reporting it. So we're as confident in it as we are with ACH and all of those guys going. So it looks like Jonah Rock's heading over to Orlando. Robbie is hopefully going to be spending more time in Japan. You've got a couple of spots there at the top of the card, and I think that strengthening Madison in her spot up there at the top of the card, because she already exists up there at the top. I think that we could really be strengthening her role as a top player, and that might be that's why I would pick Madison personally if I was booking the show.
Yeah, definitely. And the fans have been calling for her to be involved in the PWA title, to get a PWA title match. So
yes,
this would definitely put her in contention if she could dispatch Michael Spencer.
Yeah, well, at this point, she's a legend of Australian wrestling. Is that safe to say?
More than safe to say. It's a guarantee.
So I think really like building up some steam and working her towards the title picture. I think that's the way to go. As a fan, that's what I want to see.
Oh, we all want to see it. Just the last show, when she walked to the ring, people were bowing to her, cheering her on. That she was the most over person at that show. It was incredible to be there and to see that. The PWA fans love her. They want to see her at the top once again.
Look, to give you an idea, so this is my first PWA show in, I think, 5 years.
Well, man,
just to give you an idea, last time I was at a PWA show, it was at was it at the Cube, or it might have been one of the other places. But yeah, and Madison and Robbie was happening.
Yeah,
back then, and yeah, I'm very excited to see her work in person again.
And
very excited. And
I want to give a lot of credit to PWA here. They don't. There's no male and female. It's just they've blurred the lines with intergender wrestling. I love it. I love seeing these see them push that boundary, which I think is a bit draconian, and just someone like Madison Eagles who can legit kick these guys' asses, getting into the ring with them and proving it.
Yeah, and there's no question about it. It's been that way for a while. I mean, they take their inspiration there, I think, from Chikara. In Chikara, everyone's just depicted as wrestlers, and in PWA, everyone's just depicted as wrestlers, and I love it. It's my favorite way to present wrestling. Is if they've got the skill level or they've got the I mean, why would you not believe that someone like, say, Vixen down in Melbourne? Why would you not believe that Vixen would be able to beat, say, Jax Jordan, who we're going to talk about in a moment? Why would you not believe that?
I could definitely believe that. Vixen, without going too far off topic,
I do this all the time.
Is a monster, and she could take out anybody on her.
Yeah, a legitimate monster. And so why would you pigeonhole that? I mean, at some point you're just hurting half the women on the roster if you pigeonhole her into having to fight women, right? And Madison, with her vicious kicks and her technical mastery, I mean, it's the same thing. Her skill level is so high that it would not be right to pigeonhole that. They're just wrestlers, and I love it. I love it so much. PWA are one of the best companies in the country, and that is one of the major reasons for me.
Couldn't agree more, mate.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, Greg, curious question for you, man. Have you been shopping recently?
I have not.
Mate, well, I've got some good news for you. I know you're not a big fan of crowds, as most of us here at the B Plus aren't. Have you heard of Threadbox?
I have heard of Threadbox.
Man, then you would know how good they actually are. I mean, I just received my first crate, and holy moly, I'm amazed. Guys, if you're listening, go check out threadbox.com.au, and they have everything from hats to socks to shirts to pants. It's fantastic. With email to a personalized stylist and customizable crates, it's honestly one of the best things I've had. I don't know about you, Greg, but I really enjoy it.
I got a crate the other day, and they gave me new jeans, a couple of new shirts, and the cool thing is, one of the shirts I tried it on, and it was a little bit long for me, and I thought this accentuates how short I am in person. And so I sent them an email and I was just like, hey, this shirt, I feel like it makes me look really short because I'm kind of short. And they were like, send it back. We'll give you something else next month, like an extra thing. So I'm going to send that shirt back. And then next month, they're going to send me out something else. And I said to them, I've got lots of shirts. And they were like, well, we'll send you some accessories. And that's how Threadbox do it. It's kind of fantastic.
See, how good's that? And with our special code, the B plus 15 at checkout, actually saves all our fans 15% at checkout on their first box. How cool is that?
Yeah, so head to threadbox.com.au today and use the code the B plus 15 to get your first box as soon as you can. We are all WWE fans here. It's why we're here, listening to this show and spending inordinate amounts of hours consuming, complaining, and just generally eating, sleeping, and breathing professional wrestling. But if you want to take that to the next level, the only place to do it is WrestleMania 35 in the city so nice that they named it twice, New York. And our new friends at All Aussie Travelers are going to help you make that happen in the best way possible. They are new to the wrestling travel game, granted, but they have over 15 years experience in sports and event tours between the US and Australia, so you know you're in good hands. They want to offer you an exclusive WrestleMania package, including return flights to the USA, 6 nights at the New Yorker Hotel right next to Times Square. And the thing that sets these packages apart are the VIP suites that AAT have secured for WrestleMania. So that's, of course, the Raw after WrestleMania. So not only are you going to go to the Hall of Fame, not only are you going to go to WrestleMania 35, but for NXT TakeOver, SmackDown Live, and the Raw immediately after WrestleMania that next night, you are going to be in an exclusive VIP suite that is not normally available to the public. But AAT, they got it locked down. They got it waiting for you with your name on it. You're in private entrance, you're in private toilets and bar, as well as an unparalleled view in the most comfortable seats in the house. You can experience WrestleMania weekend like never before, all at really competitive prices. So head over to All Aussie Travelers on Facebook, hit that like button, send him a message, send an email to Jack, that's JAAK, at allaussie.com.au, and let them know the B Plus sent you. Yeah, so let's move on. I mentioned Jax Jordan. His match is next on the little run sheet I've got here. Jax Jordan versus Matty Wahlberg, another one that has been building for a while. Jax Jordan trying to join the Babes, and didn't really work out for him.
Well, again, this card, I have to say, is just full of so many great stories that are all coming to a head, and this is just one of them. You know, Carter Deems, similar to Tyler Payne, the opportunity to go over to Farley Dojo, learn new skills under Farley, the Young Lions contract, the whole deal. Meanwhile, Matty Wahlberg, who had had success with him with Babes, was on his own, and Jax Jordan wanted to get in on the action. He wanted to be a member of Babes. He saw how cool they were, how popular they were. He wanted a part of it. So he was kind of following Matty Wahlberg around like the little puppy dog. And he was trying to do everything in his power to be part of Babes. And similar to Eagles and Spencer, every show there's been like a little moment. And, you know, the first one was a tag match where the two of them took on One Direction and they fell to them. Just with with you know, some unfortunate shenanigans. More shenanigans took place when Wahlberg sort of came to the ring to sort of coach Jax Jordan in a fatal four-way at Call to Arms. But then we got that final spark in the powder keg, and that was at Coliseum when Carter Deems and Matty Wahlberg tried to win the number one contender spot for the PWA Tag Team Championship. And Jax Jordan sort of went in to sort of attack one of the One Direction wrestlers who were on the outside. But that drew the attention of the referee and also Carter Deems, which allowed a switcheroo. And it
was a baffling bit of interference.
Yeah, I think, you know, he wanted to do what was best for Babes, but unfortunately it's been a series of unfortunate events for poor old Jax, and this was the final straw. Carter Deems, if you see the fantastic promo video that PWA have done for this match, Matty Wahlberg said he got into the ring after, and Deems said, it's either him or me, and Matty Wahlberg said, I knew what I needed to do straight away. and
Yeah.
they brutalized him. They brutalized him, and they cut off some of his newly dyed blonde hair, basically saying, "You're not with us."
Right, which has led to allegations of bullying, right? And the crowd have a lot of sympathy for Jax Jordan. And Matty Wahlberg, in one of the best promos of this year, I would say, and one of the best video packages as well. But Matty Wahlberg said, it's not bullying. We're fucking adults. And just, you got to watch the promo. It's brilliant. I'll probably, I was going to say I'll rip the audio, but that's someone else's gimmick. So I won't do that. But definitely, I'll pop a link in the show notes, so make sure you check out that promo because it was fantastic. And Matty Wahlberg just, it's a business decision to him. That's all it is.
And he admitted as much. At the end of the day, he wants success, and sometimes you've just got to cut off the loose bits. And unfortunately, Jax Jordan was one of the loose bits in this instance.
Yeah, I'm actually expecting, similar to you. I know you've picked in your preview here. You've picked Jax Jordan. I'm expecting Jax Jordan to pick up a shock victory here. I don't think this is over. I think that this will continue, but I do think that Rose, the Triple M guys, are gonna come into play. I think as well. I have a theory that perhaps this will lead into the intermission, and we will get, because of course Matty Wahlberg has his beer pong open challenge, which is a bit different to normal.
That's right. He's embarrassed several members of the crowd over the last 6 shows.
Yes, and continued to embarrass them on social media in some instances.
Well, the last guy in particular was particularly embarrassing. So I think he'd well and truly had enough, and he saw it as an opportunity. He sees this as a very special show, and he said, "This show, I want to do something different," and hence the open challenge was born.
Yeah, and so they're actually looking for someone. I mean, he's saying he's looking for someone who's an athlete, but I'm predicting Rose, right? It's got to be.
Oh, it has to be. Just the way that he's been taunting him on social media, on Twitter, and even every intermission on every PWA Black Label show. After he's embarrassed his opponent, he basically goes over to face the commentary desk, and he gets stuck into Rose every single time. Rose can only take so much.
Yeah. So I'm expecting the beer pong open challenge to be answered by Rose, and perhaps an interference at the end of the match leading into the intermission. I don't know, that's the way I feel like it's going, but I'm really stoked to see this because I've never been there for one of the beer pong challenges or anything. So I mean, this whole Black Label experience has me very excited.
Oh, and you should be. I think you'll be very impressed. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And then we get to the main events of the evening. We have 2 Coliseum semi-final matches, Unsocial Jordan versus Mick Moretti, and Paris De Silva versus Jack J. Bonza. How do you see these ones playing out?
Oh, man, can I just say, these are both sort of dream matches for the PWA fans, so they're both going to be excellent, and I'm expecting 2 high-quality contests. If we start with Unsocial Jordan and Mick Moretti, Unsocial Jordan has had a very interesting year. In terms of action, he's been undefeated with quite a list of talent that he's got through to get where he is. But he's also had this very dysfunctional situation going on with SMS, where Facebook got injured, unfortunately. Snapchat went over to Farley Dojo. He wasn't very pleased about that because they weren't standing with him and standing with SMS, so he lashed out. He was calling them jobbers, but then despite that happening, when it came to the first round of the Coliseum tournament, Kyle Fletcher in that match was looking like he was going to win, and then SMS came to the ring, Facebook and Snapchat, and helped Unsocial Jordan get the win. So,
yeah.
And then, as we pointed out earlier with TMDK unmasking Snapchat, he didn't then stand with Snapchat. So, very interesting year for Unsocial Jordan in that regard. We also,
and you got to wonder how much the other SMS members are going to come into play here. I don't expect that, much like you, I don't expect the Unsocial Jordan Mick Moretti match to play out cleanly at all.
No. Well, and as I point out, so in the preview, Mick Moretti at the last show, he's always looking for a bit of mischief himself, and he used his own cane to have Mikey Broderick removed from the match at the last show, because Mikey Broderick accompanied Damien Slater to the ring and was looking to cause a bit of trouble, and he used the cane himself to get Broderick removed. So there's definitely going to be some shenanigans here, and both of these guys, Mick Moretti, Unsocial Jordan, phenomenal talents. It really could go either way, but this match doesn't look like it's going to end cleanly for me, and for that reason, I did definitely go with Unsocial Jordan in this one.
Yeah, I've actually, when I read your preview, I was like, yes, because you picked the same final that I've picked, so I'm picking Unsocial Jordan as well, moving forward to take on Paris De Silva in the final. So we've both picked Paris De Silva to go over Jack J. Bonza. A lot of people are wanting the Bonza versus Moretti match in the final, but I think that's played out. That's trite. Like, everyone expects it to happen because there's been little hints or whatever. And even though Bonza explicitly says all the time, we're not breaking up, we're a brotherhood, and I tend to believe him. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing. Again, I talked about the spots at the top of the card opening up with certain people moving on to bigger and better things. Well, bigger and different things. So Paris De Silva and Unsocial Jordan are two of those guys that will be stepping up in my estimation. So I think that having those two be in the final for the sword, plus I think Paris De Silva is going to look badass carrying that sword around.
He sure will. He sure will. It looks like it's made for him, to be honest. Although it
really does.
Although some people have said it looks like it's for Mick Moretti, but I think it looks.
I could see that as well. That's what I said in my tweets and stuff. I think I said that I can really see that looking so good with both Paris or Mick in photos and stuff. So I initially was thinking Paris versus Mick, but then when I thought about it, I'm like, no, I really think it's this tournament is being used to elevate. And what better way to elevate these guys than to have them face off in the final, Paris versus Unsocial Jordan? For sure.
The second match, as you say, Paris De Silva taking on Jack J. Bonza. This is going to be a really special match because you've got Jack J. Bonza, who is so phenomenal technically, and he's going to be taking on a high flyer and Paris De Silva, who...
Right, it's that dynamic that I love.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing because Bonza is going to do everything in his power to work limbs and really put pressure on De Silva to try and take that aerial game out. But Paris De Silva has just, been something else this year. He's gone to meteoric levels, and some of the things that he's been able to produce have been truly outstanding, and you just have to look at social media to see that he's drawing the attention of people like Will Ospreay, and even when you see companies asking about who fans want to see, they're mentioning Paris De Silva to go to overseas promotions.
Yeah.
The thing with this match is, for me, Paris De Silva, as we've mentioned with the velocities, they've always come up short. And particularly in that second match for the PWA Tag Team Championships, Four Nations versus Velocities 2, where we saw the phenomenal shooting star DDT involving the two people in this match. If it wasn't for Adam Hoffman pulling the referee out, Paris De Silva very well could have got the 3 count.
Yeah.
So there's just something about this where Paris De Silva's got a point to prove that he can beat Jack J. Bonza.
Yeah, and do we think the finish comes with that shooting star DDT?
I don't think so. I think there's going to be something else involved. It could very well be a new giftable moment.
Because I like the idea. I like the idea of that being a finish that that was prevented, and then you get the win with that finish at a later date. I really like that idea.
Yeah. Well, that is definitely something that they could go with. I think we might even see something unique and different again. These guys are so creative. All of these performers at PWA, they're always got fresh ideas. They're challenging each other. So, whilst if it was the Shooting Star DDT, I would be more than impressed with that. I think we're going to see something different.
Oh, yeah, I think they're far more creative than me, but so I'm sure they're going to come up with something impressive. I'm very much looking forward to it. Now, which match do you think main events? Which match do you think closes the show?
Ooh, I'm going to go with Jack J. Bonza versus Paris de Silva.
Yeah, that's my feeling as well. But Mick Moretti's a headliner anywhere, so I'm very keen for my first PWA live experience, but I have just landed in Sydney and I kind of need to unpack and, let other people back into this room and everything. So I think that's going to do it for us here. We've gone through all the matches. Is there anything else you want to talk about quickly before we go?
No, I just want to say how much I'm looking forward to this, just capping off a phenomenal year for PWA. So many great events. They've been going from strength to strength. Every show, they're just trying to step it up every time. Everybody's firing on all cylinders. I just cannot wait for this show.
Yeah, so if you are in Sydney, get down to Max Watts tomorrow as you hear this, presuming you hear this on the day it comes out. It's Friday the 7th is the important thing. Friday the 7th of December. It's Friday. It is for the babes, because Fridays are for the babes. And it's going down at Max Watts in Sydney. I'm going to be there, even though I'm an Adelaide boy. I'm in Sydney right now. I'm going to the show. I'm very excited. Come say hi. And, we'll have a beer. We'll watch some graps. It's going to be great. And where can people find you, Dan, before we go?
They can get me on Twitter at P&R Wrestling. I have my own blog, which is on thepotatoandreceipt.com. And I contribute articles to the B+. So, yeah, keep an eye out for me on those three places, and feel free to contact me if you want to have a chat about Graps.
And I am at Greg Unchained on Twitter, at the Greg Unchained on Instagram. We collectively are the B+ Wrestle on Twitter, because wrestling wouldn't fit the B+ Wrestling everywhere else. Like, share, subscribe, 5-star review, you know the drill. Thank you so much for listening.
Hold one! Arm drag!
You're not doing this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list!
So, no speak English.
Dummy! Goodbye and good night. Hold two! Arm bar!
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
It's still real to me, damn it! Dummy! Hold three! The moss covered! Three-handle